Hello, and thank you for coming. We are currently looking at the ceramic RAM chips in a silver label Commodore 64. It is, if we look over here, assembly 326298, I believe. I should have worn my glasses. Revision B, which from what I'm told is remarkably rare to find. This, oh, and look, there's a ceramic video chip, ceramic SID chip, a PAL chip, which supposedly is made, I'm not going to pull the sticker off, but apparently I'm told if I do, it would be from the company that Commodore reverse engineered it from, which is a nice way of saying made off with it. And there's a 6510. There's two of the ROM chips. Ceramic. All the dates are very early. 1982. Indeedy. So here we are on the tour of this silver label 64. But it is not just any silver label 64. There is a story behind this machine. It does happen to be, well, it is serial number S00001044, which according to the Commodore 64 Preservation Project or .com or whatever it is, besides for two prototypes, it is the lowest serial number known to exist. And recently, I found out how this came to be and how I came to be in possession of this, which is really the oldest 64 with a serial number. It was many years ago. It was many years ago. I'd have to think of how many years ago it was. I have been thinking about how many years ago it was, and I'm thinking that it is more than 25, less than 30 years ago, when this machine came into not my hands directly, but the hands of my identical twin brother. And how did he come upon this machine? And did we have any clue at the time of its, well, how old it was and how rare it was and anything? Well, of course, the answer is no. It was just a Commodore 64. That's all it was. But you see, it was many years ago, many years ago, not long after a fellow we knew, who you have probably heard the name of, had a child, a little girl. And at some point, I don't remember if she was 3 or 4 or so in there, it was decided, I think mostly by her mother, that she needed to have a nice house to grow up in, too. Not that there was anything wrong, at least I could see there wasn't really anything wrong with where they were, but you know. So, my brother Richard and I were summoned by this great man who left us far too early, and his name was, and is, Jim Butterfield. So, we went down to downtown Toronto. He lived on Brooklyn Avenue at the time, where the houses are tall and slender. And they were moving, which I was stunned. You know, there's one thing about the house I remember. The basement really wasn't finished. You know, basements generally weren't. But it had a handrail that looked like it came out of the finest hotel. It was large. It was ornate. It was something. But apparently it was the original one that came in the house. So, but anyway, so we helped them move. And at some point before, during, or after, and I don't remember when exactly, Jim gave my brother Richard this Commodore 64. And it was, I'm not sure if he used it on his bulletin board at all. That was when we ran the Bradley Brothers bulletin board system, which was part of the Punternet. I don't know. I don't know what, where it went, where it's at, what it did, or anything. And it was not until maybe about 12 or 13 years ago, when we were in fact in the process of moving, when Richard passed this machine on to me. Now, was I really aware of it at the time? No, not really. As you may know, I have a few machines around. A few. So anyway, this was very carefully packed away with all the rest of them before the move, and I really wasn't aware, and I suppose at the time even, because this was, 12 or 13 years ago, the silver label 64s were not, I'd never heard anybody mention, oh my lord, it's a silver label 64. But more recently, they have become more desired. Part of it is because there's not many left, and that is in part because the first ones that came out, and these were the Canadian version with the silver label, had a flicker problem. And I remember I was at a thing and Bill heard, its basic thing was, you know what, we want to get it under your tree. If it doesn't work, we'll fix it, but we want to get it under your Christmas tree. So there was a flicker problem with the Commodore 64, which was, it's funny, it was corrected, but it really wasn't fixed. They corrected it by making sure that it flickered in the same color as the background color, from what I remember, which means it still flickered, it's just you couldn't see it. So it's not fixed, but it's as good as being fixed. Reminds me, actually, I was on a panel talking at a show once, and this fellow was wondering if there was a way to have text come in from the modem and go directly out to the printer. And the panel talked about this for a while, and it seemed that people thought it was probably possible, but it would be difficult, and you had to open and then grab a thing and open and then print a thing, and so basically it was decided probably it couldn't do it exactly as he had thought, but that it could probably figure out a way to do it that he would be fooled into thinking that it was doing what he wanted it to do. And he said, well, I'm prepared to be fooled. Anyway, so this machine actually was for a long time not doing anything except living in a filing cabinet in my garage. And just recently I decided, well, I really gotta, go through things and sort things and figure things. And Richard had mentioned a while ago, you might have a rather old 64 there. And he reminded me, and I, at the time I might have known that Jim gave him the machine, but I don't remember it. No recollection at all. Anyway, so as I was going through the filing cabinet, which had an assortment of 64s and VIC-20s, mostly that was what was there, but there might have been a disk driver too. It was a 4-drawer, of course, Commodore filing cabinet. And then, out of the blue, I found this machine with a silver label. And the silver label, as well as the little 64 logo around the power logo, or not the power logo, the power LED, the protective plastic that is put over such things is still there. So yes, as I was saying, the little protective plastic is still over the silver label, and the little silver label, it is by the power connector on this. Very, very early, very rare Commodore 64. It is. So I've just moved. Here's a shot of the ceramic RAM chips, which I hardly ever remember seeing, but from what I've been told, they, before going into mass production, they used better quality components. And then, of course, into mass production they go. And not that there's anything wrong with, just the regular black chips. But, once they go into mass production, they got to pump them out. So, I have, and if you look back into previous videos, I have plugged this machine in. It does work just fine. It has, yes, ceramic ROM chips and a ceramic SID chip, which works just fine. And the video chip is ceramic. And, the rest are black. The PLA chip is an original one before, as I said, the Commodore reverse engineered. In other words, made off with the PLA chip. Anyway, so this, besides being the earliest known Commodore 64 with a real serial number, there are two others that don't have real serial numbers. I think what they had on them was just like a typewriter sticker, or a sticker with a typewriter thing on it that said a number. So they are known to exist. So on the 64preservation.com, I think it is, you'll see that this machine is listed as the third oldest, but really it's the oldest with a real serial number. Anyway, why am I telling you all this? Well, I've decided that I'm going to put this machine up on eBay so that someone else might enjoy it. It's not that I don't relish the thought of having the oldest such machine there is, but I have been going through things and trying to lighten the load, as it were. So, probably by the time you hear this, see this, experience this, this machine will be listed on eBay, and I will put it up at a fairly high price, and I will be accepting offers. Do I think anyone is going to just jump and pay the fairly high price? No, I don't really think so. But I am open to offers. I am. So, and if it sells, great. If it doesn't, well, that's fine. I'm in no rush. I'm in no hurry. I'm not. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. If you're at all interested in owning this fine piece of Commodore history of, let's see, I think they said they made about 25 million, and this is one of the first. So, if you are a collector, this could be the pinnacle of any collection. It could be. I have to get the listing done. So, bye for now. See you on eBay.